Doing business in Africa. You can't afford to be without Africa Investor.
We believe climate change is the greatest investment opportunity of our generation. That's why the African Green Infrastructure Investment Bank, AFGIB, is investing for generational climate returns. Join Africa's Green Investment Bank and its partners for action on the just transition and emissions reduction targets in Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt for an epic 2022 African COP27. The African Green Infrastructure Investment Bank, AFGIB, committing capital to a climate-safe future.
So I'm now going to turn to North Africa, Egypt, Ayman, our sovereign wealth fund leader on this particular panel. It's a shame that Duncan Bonfield, the president and CEO of the International Federation of Sovereign Wealth Funds, was on earlier, but he's been called away for, I understand, some more COP-related deliberations, which goes to the point to say that there's still a lot of engagement from the sovereign wealth fund community in that. But before I ask Ayman to sort of share his views, I would just firstly like to say congratulations to you. I know that you were working very hard behind the scenes as a sovereign wealth fund, working with government, sensitizing them to the economic opportunity for the region and the country of hosting COP27. So that's great news. And as I say, congratulations to you and the government. And we look forward to great things, and we will be standing shoulder to shoulder with you on preparations and everything necessary to make that an outstanding COP. So with that said, the floor is yours, Ayman.
Thank you, Hubert, and thank you, and hello to everyone. I'd like to say that we are fully aligned, and even listening to what Nick was saying and what Ziad was saying earlier, it's as if he is down here in Egypt, living with us, all the challenges that we face day in, day out. We all agree that the key challenges are the products, the investable products coming out of this part of the world. So Africa has so much to offer in terms of green infrastructure and green investments. And this is our new find. But the key challenge remains is bankable projects. And for us to keep up with the pace, to keep up with political expectations, and to keep up with KPIs that are being delivered, we have to lubricate and parallel track most of our efforts. So in that regard, I just, spur of the moment, listening to all the comments that were made earlier, I think the pipeline buildup and making sure that the projects are bankable for the sake of a PPP project or for the sake of a direct partnership, sovereign funds can play a significant role in bridging that gap. Because, as remember, Hubert, when we started our discussion earlier, when we said Team Africa, the sovereign funds of Africa are going to co-invest alongside development partners. So that is a different setup. That's something new. We're not an investment promotion agency. So IPAs, yes, are trying to crowd in investors, and DFIs are pouring funds of aid and funding those studies. But at the end of the day, no one does the hand-holding and co-invests alongside those partners and developers coming into Africa for the first time, or looking at Africa maybe a decade after they had been away from those markets. Things change very fast in Africa. We leapfrog in so many, either on the legislative side or on the economic development side, on growth, on demography, on infrastructure. So this is a land of opportunity. However, those that understand those opportunities best should actually put their money where their mouth is. And this is what sovereign funds are now going to do in Africa. And we stand firm behind this. So just as a land paving the way for the discussion, it is very important to note that yes, we recognize the challenge in making sure that we cough out enough products and enough projects to be able to attract our fair share of the $100 billion annual investment budget towards green projects and towards infrastructure. And this is where we can have actually a positive impact. Not only do we aim to achieve carbon neutrality for our own economies or our own portfolios, we can actually aim to create enough surplus of carbon credits and enough negative carbon footprint for other developed economies that need to catch up and need to balance their portfolios. So we are less burdened by our legacy portfolio in our funds. We can actually become greener than most, and this is an advantage we need to put to good use. How do we get there? And these are the key challenges that I wish to address. So the first key challenge is, yes, there is a lag in legislation that allows us to trade those carbon credits. And to be able to trade carbon credits, you will need to be able to actually issue and certify your carbon credits. So these are some of the on-the-ground challenges. We are now launching three green hydrogen pilots in Egypt. We are involved in at least 2 of those. And the green hydrogen projects that are coming out of Egypt are built on solar and wind-powered electrolyzers that will need to produce green hydrogen, and you need to certify that the source energy is an additional source energy, renewable source energy, and to certify that the grid that is carrying that source energy is not contaminated by any other fossil fuel-based electricity or electrons. So there are actual challenges to make sure that this product is as green as we should certify it to be. So these are on-ground challenges. A lot of DFIs, a lot of Northern Europe and Western organizations are trying to lend help to try and bridge those gaps, but these are the on-ground challenges. So as investors, we are looking to replicate those. If we successfully manage to get one of those products to the market and fund it and make it a bankable product, then more should come. Egypt has had a famous story around the success of launching Ben Ben. Unfortunately, Ziad, this operated outside the realms of PPP. It operated under a very special law for infrastructure delivery in partnership with private developers, but that was a cookie cutter, and it launched quite progressively. So I think there are many opportunities for us to address. And in that regard, what's the container that can bring all of those together? Where can we have that knowledge sharing, and where can we actually cross-fertilize our our capabilities and investment balance sheets? African Green Infrastructure Investment Bank is a good avenue for us to be able to pool our efforts towards that. It's not going to only be capital flowing between African investors, but it's also going to be within product development, within knowledge sharing, within best practices that can actually be replicated across, and where we can buy reel in good insurance providers, where we can reel in good legal framework. And I understand that through the COP, they're trying to create standardized contracts and standardized legal documents to make sure that these products are rolled out easier and faster. But I don't think this is the only challenge that we will be facing. We will need to have ministries of finance support with good guarantees to make sure that these projects are bankable, solid agreements. So some laws will need to be changed, and for us to be able to reach quantifiable goals. So these are the bulk of challenges I see way forward. But in return, it is definitely worth the pain, worth the effort, because the upside is massive for Africa in terms of offering green infrastructure, in terms of offering good plumbing, and I like that word, good plumbing between African economies as well, and that would help us become more sustainable as a continent. And this is an excellent opportunity to deploy capital towards those field projects.
We believe climate change is the greatest investment opportunity of our generation. That's why the African Green Infrastructure Investment Bank, AFGIB, is investing for generational climate returns. Join Africa's Green Investment Bank and its partners for action on the just transition and emissions reduction targets in Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt, for an epic 2022 African COP27. The African Green Infrastructure Investment Bank, AFGIB, committing capital to a climate-safe future.
Doing business in Africa, you can't afford to be without Africa Investor.